Hey there, my friends. It's Andy coming to you live from Orange County, California, and we're going to be talking about morons, abortion, and some other stuff, and the election. I forgot what else I was going to be talking about. Having a great time with these posts because it is so crazy. Alexa, stop. Hold on one second. My son has to ask me something.
Emily says that you're going live on the 99.
Oh, sorry. I can cancel that.
Alexa,
remove. I clicked on the wrong thing. It was supposed to be the COVID-19. I'm glad she called me. All right. I removed it. Thank you. All right. I was going on. I have so many things. They got to take me out as an administrator. So that way I'm not going live there. And let me just make sure and double check really quick. That happens from time to time. And yep. Yeah, going live on a church thing, talking about this kind of stuff. I mean, it wouldn't be bad. I could see Pastor Jack Hibbs talking about this thing, but maybe not the church that I was on there for a few seconds. And so it has been a really good time. It's entertaining, number one, on some level, to talk with people that don't have the credibility nor the desire to listen to facts or logic when it comes to things happening in our world. But it also is shocking on some level when you get into discussion with somebody and hey, Carol, nice to see you. It is shocking to find out how many people that you have in your group of friends who, again, and I've said this several times, that you thought had some sense of intelligence and they actually don't. And it really is shocking, I think. Hello from semi-communist Texas. Well, Texas did a good thing today. They filed a lawsuit against the other states who have voter fraud going on. I think that's actually a pretty cool thing that Texas did, but it is somewhat semi-communist. Unlike California, which is completely communist when it comes to at least the politicians we have in effect. So I'm going to first bring up one thing that I need you to look at right here, and that's U.S. Patriot Project, which is right about. I have a long delay, so I apologize. I don't know if my voice, I think, is probably delayed from the sound coming out. I can tell that sometimes the internet is struggling here. It's been really windy too, so there may be some stuff going on around us that's causing this horrible internet connection. And that's kind of why I'm distracted, because I'm seeing my hands move on the screen like about 2 seconds after I move them. But a U.S. Patriot Project right here, .com. Go there. You'll see there's a tab for contributing. You can contribute to help us get up and running. We've already got attorneys that worked and got us our nonprofit organization number. When you go to the place where you can contribute money, down at the bottom, you'll see the number down there, so you can write it off. You will see we have a new logo. I have a bunch of stuff happening in the background, and simply much of this cost, it's not cheap to do some of this stuff. And so having you help us get this word, we'll be talking about Christian conservative values and helping those people that are running for office or doing other great things in our country that's going to help spread the word, because a lot of people are not happy right now. And we are moving in a very positive direction, I think, in that area, because so many people are upset what's going on, including what I'm going to be talking about today in regard to moron logic and abortions and the election. So I want to first just bring up the most recent Joe Biden video. Now, there's literally hundreds of examples of how he's mentally declined. He's obviously going through the early stages of dementia, and this is the very first thing when you talk to people. When I have a post in regard to Joe Biden, and I have from day one, since Joe Biden has been nominated, even before that, even when he was running and not quite nominated yet, when they were still having the Democratic debates, that like, who would be stupid enough? Like at that point, when they were still going through the debates, the Democratic debates, that the last person you would have thought on that stage would have been Joe Biden. Everybody knew that, number one, he had 47 years of failed policies. He'd been a moron his entire career, and he plagiarized speeches. He didn't get elected in previous run. This is his third time running. The two previous times he tried to run, he got caught plagiarizing speeches and just a number of other things, right? And you thought, at least as a common sense American, you're thinking, well, he's the last guy, and he's mentally declining and on the early stages of dementia. All you have to do is let him talk for longer than a couple minutes, and that will be very obvious. All of us, especially at our age and my age, in their 50s, have parents who had gone through dementia, and we know what it's like. And that's him, right? That's the guy. And it wouldn't be so funny other than he was dumb before he got dementia. Like he was already stupid before that. He'd never made a good policy choice for or against anything in his entire 47 years. And then, of course, we know that he had made his family millions, if not billions of dollars between his son and his two brothers, and that he gets a percentage of that. All that was coming out just recently, too. And so when you look at all that, and previously, there was no way that you could thought there's not enough Americans or not enough stupid people in our country that would actually vote for the guy. And yet, I'm finding out that there are some people that actually vote. I think I have 4 people that have been at least admitted out of the 4,000 people, 4,000 plus friends I have on my Facebook page alone. There are 4 people willing to admit that they voted. Well, they said they voted for Trump, but yet in their comments, all they talked about was Trump. They can't follow direct. That's just how stupid people are. That you tell them specifically, okay, I need you to tell me if you're dumb enough or a moronic enough to vote for Joe Biden, and you cannot. And I said for, I put for in capital L's, FOR, for Biden, not against Donald Trump. And you cannot use Trump in your comments in any way. You have to tell me, number one, that you voted for Biden, and if you were going to say why, it couldn't involve because Donald Trump is a whatever you think he is, a racist, a Russian spy, that he's, whatever it is that you claim that you think that he is, right? But never, not once, even again, all the way back to the Democratic debates, did anyone ever give any reason? Still to this day, I have yet to have anybody follow direction. Number one, who's not stupid, and give me the logic behind voting for Biden. If you did, I don't believe anybody really did. I think even those people secretly love Trump because they can't stop talking about him. It really is kind of crazy. And so I want to first show just the latest clip that I have. I'm sure that he said something stupid between now and this last clip that I'm going to show you. But I'm going to show you this one, and then we're going to come back. I'm going to talk about a Facebook post I put up and talk about, again, some moronic logic when it comes to arguing for voting for Biden, and then the comeback that came across. All right, so let me go ahead and put this one up. I'm going to go ahead and make it full screen here, and let's just listen to what he has to say here.
But all kidding aside,
the first lady to be told me she holds them for you.
yes, she does, but not with she and Kamala have become friends.
Yeah.
But all kidding aside, it's a matter of the thing. We are simpatico on our philosophy of government and simpatico on how we want to approach these issues that we're facing. And so I don't have, and when we disagree, it'll be just like it's so far. It's been just like when Barack and I did. It's in private. She'll say, I think we should do A, B, C, or D. And I'll say, I like A, don't like B and C. And it's go, okay. But, and I told Barack, if I read something where there's a fundamental disagreement we have based on a moral principle, I'll develop some disease and say I have to resign. We don't have that. We haven't, and we discussed it then.
Sorry about that. Again, the internet, I'm not sure what's happening here, but my computer's struggling a little bit, but I'm back. But I think you saw the video, at least up to the point where I wanted you to see it. And there's a couple things. Oh, was it muted? Oh, man. The whole thing was muted? Farfingnugan. Wow, what's going on here? I got 3 screens. This is crazy. I got 3 things below that are showing that I have my camera going on. I don't know. Am I muted? Go ahead and tell me. Am I muted, or was the video muted? Just make sure I understand which one is going on. So did you not hear anything in regard to? Oh, mute my. I needed to mute my mic because you were probably getting an echo. I get it now. All right. Sorry. There's a lot going on here. My camera is so slow, and I'm seeing all kinds of other cameras pop up below. So next time I run a video, I'll make sure and mute my my microphone. Sorry about that. I got it. Yeah, that stinking echo. There's anyway. There's an option that should be not allowing that echo to happen, but obviously it's not working. All right. So in regard to that video, the 2 things and I'm sure you've seen the video before, even though you maybe it was a little bit echoey and you couldn't hear it very well, but you have 2 things here. You have a woman looking at Joe Biden as if he's the greatest thing on the planet. Yet much earlier in this year, she called him a racist and she probably didn't use these exact words, but something to the fact that he's guilty of some types of sexual impropriety or a sexual predator or something like that. And so you have a woman sitting there with this goo-goo look on her face. So you know she's a great actress, number one, because months ago she was talking about how racist he was and that his policies forced her to have to take a bus and all this bunch of other stuff, right? And so you have this woman who's now looks at him and says, oh, what a leader. This guy's the greatest leader, but only months ago, not such a great leader, right? But then you have his, of course, horrific statement that he mumbles through. That I don't know what that whole stuttering thing was. That's probably the dementia that's going on. I almost feel bad for him too. But the problem is he's always been dumb. He's always been an idiot. And I would say that, except for you have a woman, you have his wife, who actually should be intervening all along. And at some point she also needs to be held accountable. That she knows, right? If there's anybody that knows that he's mentally declining and then is in the first stage of dementia, it's his wife, right? And also you have the Secret Service guys, which from what I understand from people that I know, and even from listening to Dan Bongino, is that they talk about how they're scared every day that he goes out and has to get on a microphone. Everybody is worried about what's going to come out of his mouth every time he gets in front of it. So it's not just his wife that knows. There's a number of people that are very close to him that knows that he's significantly declining and he will not last the 4 years when it comes up. And so you look at that package, right? The package of Kamala Harris and what she said months earlier, and now has this total actress thing going on, knowing that she's in her mind, she's going, you're not going to be around for very long. I'm going to end up being president. This is going to be so cool, right? That you have a number of people that actually voted for that ticket. And if that's not enough, to look at the lack of common sense, the lack of logic, the lack of understanding when it comes to voting for these people, that you still voted for them, and you're upset at me that I call you a moron, then I don't know what else to tell you. But that is pretty telling when it comes to making a decision to do something like that. All right. So the next thing I want to show you is I'm going to share something on my screen here. If it doesn't cause my computer to crash again, let's give it a shot. Is that I had the post, which was the video that you just watched. So if you wanted to watch the whole video, it's a much longer video. Well, first I had this guy named Mark on there. I love his post. I will never suppress him or whatever you kick him off, because he is gold when it comes to responding in a way that I can't predict. So I know when I put a post that he's going to say exactly what he does end up saying, and just reinforces what it is I said. So I have this girl named Carrie, and I'm not sure where she's from. I've not even looked into seeing where she's from or how I know her, but it really doesn't matter at this point. But in her response to my post, she says, I will not engage in this type of discussion with an adult who name calls. Now, I've talked about this several times. I've been called a whole number of things. I've been called a racist. I've been called a Nazi. I've been called a baby killer. I've been called for 5 years now, as Donald Trump has been president. I've been called all these names. I have not really resorted to actually calling people what they are. So it's a little bit different when you call me a Nazi or call me a baby killer, when in fact I'm not, right? You're lying. You're making up crap. You don't know obviously you don't know me, right? You don't know that when you arrest somebody for a crime and they happen to be a parent, what do you want us to do? The children end up going to someplace like Orangewood Home, which we have in the city of Anna, or in Orange County, is where the children go when you arrest an adult for robbery, homicide, child abuse. You have to take the children and put them somewhere, right? And so I've been called all these names, a Nazi, because when you arrest somebody as a police officer, what are you supposed to do? When you're a parent and you commit a robbery or you commit a homicide or sexual abuse, I guess you get a free pass because you're a parent. We can't arrest you. Whether it's in a city or at the border, it doesn't matter. If you're committing a crime, what are you supposed to do? And so I loved being called a racist, a Nazi, all these things for many, many years before I began to finally do a post and a show where we call out people for exactly what they are. And so I don't feel that I'm making anything up when you vote for somebody that has dementia and has a vice president who at one point said that he's a racist herself and has called him a sexual predator. And so back to my post here, as I put it back up again, is that, she's not willing to talk. This woman, Carrie, is not willing to talk to me or respond. Yet she's responding, right? She's on my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, responding to one of my posts, as opposed to, going by and not responding. Now, it's probably hard to see, unfortunately. But it says, I will not engage in this type of discussion. You're on my page. Again, this is moron logic. You're on my page commenting on one of my posts. And I laughed and I said, okay, boomer. So in other words, you are for those policies and the history and his history, and I'm talking about Biden, makes total sense. And anywhere she says, I don't care what you think of me or my opinions, so go find someone else to argue with or insult. Again, she's on my page commenting and continue to comment. I don't care. Right. And so this goes further. And so only reason I'm showing this is because I just have to show you this moron logic that we have going on in our country. It is rather crazy. So coming back again to this comment. And so, oh, shoot. Sorry, losing the tabs here. And so we're talking about in the Democratic Party. And let me actually come back to my camera here for 1 second. When we're talking about the Democratic Party, obviously you have a Catholic, supposedly, in Joe Biden, who's running on a policy that supports abortions, right? Whatever your thoughts are about abortion, but they support this concept, and yet says he is a devout Catholic, right? Now, you got the Catholics, you got the Pope saying some stuff recently, which is not, you want to look in the Bible and say, where does it say it's okay to support abortions? I'm not sure where it says that, but you have a Pope who somehow has the ability to circumvent God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit and say, no, you know what? All of that is everything that's in the Bible that you're reading. Just ignore that. I'm the Pope, and I'm going to say it's okay now for abortions. All right. Okay. I would say, okay, boomer. Again, I get that from my son, unfortunately. And so, yeah, Amy has it here. Commenting, I will not engage. It's literally engaging. You're absolutely right. That's what makes me laugh so hard. I love these people. They really entertain me. And I don't delete them because of it. It's actually my entertainment in most cases. But I also have Christians that have voted for Biden, Christian friends that I went to church with over at Yorba Linda Friends Church who voted for Biden. And they're going, but they're for abortion, right? You know that. Not only that, the Democratic ticket has gone so far as to move the abortion to late term abortion. In other words, at the ninth month, you can abort the child, and even in some cases, when the child is even on its way out, you can decide to abort a living child that's coming out of the woman's vagina and actually still decide to abort. It really is just crazy, right? It just really is crazy. Yeah, we've had bad popes before. Absolutely. Popes are, just like the presidents, right? We have good ones and we have bad ones. Unfortunately, we have a good one right now that I hope that he either comes through and can win some of these cases. But it's much like the president that we go, wow, I don't even know what this guy's thinking. It's kind of crazy. So here I am having this discussion about abortion now, and I just want to get her take on it because obviously she's, as far as I can tell, is for this policy of late-term abortions. Because again, if you're voting for the guy, you have to be for it and be okay with it, I would think. again, when you're making decisions to vote for a president, you look at his policies. It's not about voting against Donald Trump. So I do have one. So I said, so Carrie, killing babies at the 9th month is awesome. They even celebrated by lighting lighting up New York and cheering. Not moronic at all. Perfectly sane is what I wrote. And then she writes, so here again, we're going to get it. She doesn't want to engage, but yeah, she's still engaging, and she's still talking to me on this post. And she says, here is really the tip. This is really the tip of the iceberg here. And she writes, I do have one question. How many 9th month abortions do you know of? What? How many 9th month abortions do I know of? What? And I had to sit here and think, I go, where does, so what she's saying is that because maybe we don't know. Now, how many women go out and celebrate, with their friends and even on Facebook? Hey, I want to let you know that I was at my 9th month of giving birth, and I decided at the last second, I don't want this baby. And how many people do you know, right? Is it happening? I believe it is. Or why would you move the time you can have an abortion all the way out to late term if there wasn't a need for it in their minds, right? And again, I'm not saying that there is a need for it, but if in their minds that they needed to move it out. Why? Was it just to piss off conservatives? Is it just to have this argument? It's possible that some people just want this argument, but when you move it out to late term, why is it that if I'm going to be voting against it, that it's because I know of somebody or have a family member that went to the 9th term or a late term abortion and actually had a late term abortion? Where does that come into play? It's what's like and actually in my life, I only know of one person in my life who had an abortion. I only know of one person. I'm sure there's other people out there, and I'm sure they have reasons for doing it. I have people that I'm sure that are friends that had an abortion that don't want to tell anybody, but inside it's killing them. Other people are happy that they had an abortion. I don't care. And when it comes to saving lives, doctors can make some pretty darn good decisions when it comes to saving either a baby's life or a mother's life. That is different than what you're having an abortion because you made a bad decision. The bad decision was that you had sex when you weren't ready to be a parent and you're not willing to live with the consequence. Far more of those decisions are being made than because of life and death situations. I know that's the thing they want to bring up. Well, if your daughter, was going to die giving birth, wouldn't you want the ability to have an abortion? Listen, we will cross that bridge when it comes to it and figure it out, and make some decisions. But when it comes to having an abortion because you just made a bad choice and you had, something happen to you, that is an entirely different thing. And then when it comes down, now you had this baby in your stomach or whatever, in the womb for 9 months, and now you decide that you're gonna abort the child. Is where when you make a law like that, you're giving wiggle room for people that have a panic attack at the last month and decide, I can't go through with this. And now they have an out. This is the problem with having this particular thing. Now, there's other things that could come into play that doesn't come to legalizing abortion. But when I come back to this comment that this person made, is that how many people do you know that had a late term abortion? I know none. I only know one. I'm 58 years old. I know one person that had an abortion who told me they had an abortion. It was my ex-wife, not the last one, but the first one. Told me she had an abortion, and I hope that's okay that I meant. But that's how long ago it is. I don't know anybody since then, 26 years, 27 years probably when she told me that. And I know that may seem strange. I don't know. But I still, but even only knowing one person and how sad she was that she had it and the regret that she had and that she cried about it when she told me, she couldn't even hardly tell me about the abortion that she had. And it was because she wasn't ready to have a baby, but she made a decision to have sex and didn't have protection. That the anguish and the tears and how it ate her up, I think it's still to this day that's the problem, right? And when it comes to that, is one of the reasons why we need to look at this as a serious subject and at least not go to this late term abortion thing. But again, that's not about that. It's about the stupid argument, the moronic logic that because I don't know somebody that had an abortion in 9 months that it's okay. Oh, then I should have voted for Biden. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? I don't know anybody that had a ninth term or a late term abortion. She's right. Carrie's right. I should have voted for Biden. And this is moronic. When you see Cuomo celebrating and the people celebrating when the late term abortion law passed in New York, and then they lit up a building because, oh, this is fantastic. We can kill babies all the way to when they're coming out of the womb. This is amazing. Let's celebrate. Pop the corks. Let's go. And they're drinking the champagne. Oh, but that's again. I just wanted to share the example of the moronic logic of these people. And then she says she's not engaging, like Amy said, and yet still engaging. Everything about it was fantastic. And I don't love that she voted for Biden because he doesn't mind killing babies in the 9th month. But I just think that these people are so stupid because they continue to give me good content, which allows me to do these shows. Number one. All right. So I'm going to try to do better here on this next video that I'm bringing up here. Let's see. Well, I really don't even need to bring the video. I'm not sure what's going on with my computer right now, but it's struggling. And so I'm just going to, I'm going to close that one. I'm not going to play that. You had Lou Dobbs, who finally went off on the rhinos. And we all need to be going off on the rhinos. We are done. I am so done with much of the Republican Party. So much of the Republican Party is disappointed me. You even got some things going on in the DOJ and things going on in the FBI and the CIA. And you got great people that work in law enforcement all over the country, all the time, putting their lives, before hours, working late at night when we're sleeping so that we can wake up in the morning and not have to worry if somebody's breaking into our house. And if there is somebody breaking, we can call upon somebody to come here and help us out. And there's a great line, but you have the upper echelon of people that you just simply can't trust to do the right thing. And then we have the rhinos that are just virtually doing nothing and telling President Trump to concede and all this other crap that's going on. That really is just craziness that I cannot get past. So we, as Americans, whether you're Republican or Democrat, it doesn't matter, need to bring our country back to where it should be. And that is the great America that it's always been, the least racist country on the planet, the most giving country on the planet, which has its flaws as every church does. When we're looking at Christian church, Catholic church, Protestant church, whatever, the problem with churches is that you have people in them. The problem with countries that we have people in them. That is the thing. But we have laws and we have rules. We have a constitution. We have the amendments. We have all these things that make our country great because there are morons in our country. There's always going to be morons in our country. There's going to be criminals in our country. There's always going to be a whole bunch of stuff going on that we don't like. But when it comes to overall, compared to any other country on the planet, this still is the greatest country on the planet, unless we allow liberals to take over. Communist, Marxist, racist Americans and rhinos it's killing us. It's killing our country to allow these people to continue to be in a position of leadership in our country, and we really need to change it. And so this right here. So we got this COVID thing going on, and I'm just going to point out a couple things, which are all and mostly Democrats that are doing this to our country. Oops! Wow, I cannot. I don't have no idea. I have no control over my computer right now. But you have. This is the greatest. I can't wait till I can afford to hire a producer to do all this and I don't have to be clicking and talking to you at the same time. One of these days we are going to get that together. And Hedy, thank you for being on. I appreciate you so much being on and your support. But you have this going on right here in New York. New York's threatened lockdown spares SNL, Saturday Night Live, once again as show uses COVID loophole to keep in-person audience. So again, this is simply moron logic. Where you have a Democratic governor and mayor, right, making the decision. We're going to close down restaurants. We're going to close down these mom and pop restaurants who struggle on a good day, on a good month, in a good year. Restaurants are constantly struggling, and you're going to make things worse by closing them all down. But yet Saturday Night Live can have people in the audience live on Saturday night, right? You can that makes total sense. Right. And then we have this young restaurant owner here in California who our great governor and mayor closed down her her restaurant. I'm not going to play it again because it's just I'm having way too much problems. But the restaurant owner shares her frustration over dining ban after film crew sets up craft services next door. And so our mayor, I can't remember his name. That's Garcetti. Oh, wow. I had a brain fart there for a second. And so she said she spent about $80,000 setting up an outdoor dining area and making changes to meet LA County's health requirements. But she's run out of loan money and can't afford to offer takeout. So for now, she's closing. But yet you have the mayor and the governor allowing the film crew to set up craft services for filming of a television show or a movie right next to the restaurant that she can't open because of COVID. So apparently on this part of the parking lot to the left, you can catch COVID. On the other side of the parking lot, you can't catch COVID, apparently. That is moron logic that is still going on in our country. And I think I have one more here unless I accidentally got rid of it. The good news is that we have some restaurants in Pasadena, I believe, that have found their own loophole, which is conservative logic, which is smart and very wise decisions that they make. Restaurants defy health orders, call outdoor dining peaceful protest in possible loophole. And I believe some of these restaurants, let me look here, Los Angeles, numerous restaurant owners are defying California's order to close their doors, but they say it isn't because they don't think the virus is dangerous. It's a matter of survival. Absolutely. As the owners put it, when outdoor dining stops, the rent isn't put on hold. Employee payroll doesn't stop, but business drastically drops. Dave Folds, the owner of Cronies Sports Bar and Grill, told Fox 11 he was keeping outdoor dining open to protect his staff's financial health. He said the business can't survive on just takeout, which he said only netted $400 last Tuesday. $400. You can't keep the doors open on $400. I was looking to see where this one is. I've heard some restaurants in Pasadena, and this is Eagle Rock. There's another one in Eagle Rock. It's Swark Coffee. They are calling their outdoor dining area a peaceful protest in reference to one of the two exceptions in Los Angeles County for public gatherings. So you can have, it is a loophole. It actually exists. And they put signs up here. The restaurant industry has been unfairly targeted. With all due respect to everyone who may be suffering health challenges due to COVID-19, Swark is peacefully protesting the right to keep our tables and chairs on the sidewalk. Small retail businesses, cafes are closing, while big corporate giants like Costco thrive and continue to pack stores with patrons. Please reach out to your councilman with your support. A great sign to put that up there, and totally support them. So if we can find, Hedia, as we go out this week, if we find any of these great restaurants that are going to be open and with a peaceful protest, let's make sure and give them our business. I would love to support any business that decides to stay open, because that is actual logic. That is actual making common sense. You have a business where, and again, the people making these decisions have jobs, right? You have the governors getting paid. You have a mayor who's getting paid. You got city council members getting paid. Everybody making these decisions to shut down businesses they're not losing any income. They're not losing their paycheck. They're not losing their homes because they're getting a paycheck. The people that they're telling you have to close down are businesses that struggle as it is. Again, we all know this. The restaurant business is one of the toughest business on the planet, and yet you make it harder by saying you can't stay open during this pandemic, and yet you have Nancy Pelosi, who's not willing to give any of us, any people that have lost business, any relief through a financial stimulus, nor are they opening up more funding for the PPP. None of that is happening, right? So these are people that have jobs. Right. And then you have the media who all have jobs and they're getting paid and they're supporting the Democratic Party and saying, yes, well, you're going to kill people. You're going to kill people. And I could go on with the COVID-19. I've had COVID-19. Shut up about your COVID-19. Open the restaurants. Let people go back to work so that they can take care of their families and their children. And you decide, if you're afraid of COVID-19, you stay home. You stay home and you hide in your house and you do whatever it takes. I don't care. But don't tell these people that are struggling to close their businesses. And I support any business that stays open under peaceful protest. And I will go to that restaurant if I can. If it's somewhere near, I will find a way to go there and give them my money. All right, let's look at a couple comments, some good ones here. Amy Phelps, the Democrats' defense of abortion is that unwanted children end up in poverty and uneducated, unemployed, homeless, hungry, all of which, according to idiotic logic, are pro-life issues. Absolutely. And I'm available to help you out with the stream controls if you ever are in need. I don't know. I'm having a weird night with, it's my internet. I don't believe it's StreamYard. StreamYard is a solid platform. It's just, I got a lot going on. And the kids are here too. So the kids are all streaming. I'm on a different network than they are, but I still think it still causes my network to struggle. Or again, it's extremely windy outside. I think it's causing some problems nearby. No fee even required. Well, good. I think I may take you up on that because today's been a little bit frustrating because I can see the struggle. When I go to share the screen, there's this long delay and then it kind of kicks in and there's this weirdness going on. And so it's okay. We still do the show and we still call out the idiots that are what we are known as liberals, Democrats, BLM, Antifa people, morons. SNL is paying the audience members to get around shutdown orders. Oh my gosh. Yes. Thank you, Hedia. Yeah. Oh, as far as going to, yeah, we're going to buy coffee. We'll buy meal. Well, I'll buy a meal for somebody there if I can to support these great restaurants who, it takes some cojones and our church. That's why I love Jack Hibbs. That's why I like our church, Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills. Since May, they have held 3 services on Sundays on one and Wednesday nights and given it to Gavin Newsom, along with some other brave churches. That's why that church is my new home church. And I will not leave as long as Jack Hibbs is there and doing his thing and it stays true to Christian conservative values. I will continue with that church and show their support. That's what I do. I'm showing my support for a church who has defied these moronic the dictator known as Gavin Newsom. That's their ultimate goal. Eliminate independence of capitalist system, make people dependent on the state and multinational corporations. Absolutely. These big corporations, it's so funny because when you listen to the Democratic debate or you listen to Biden, well, you can't listen to Biden. I take that back. Don't bother. Or anybody else, the networks, the news media, is that they rail against capitalism. The only people that are surviving, the only people that are doing well are the billionaires and the millionaires. Yet they rail against the millionaires and billionaires. They rail against big money makers, which is Hollywood. And again, here we have a restaurant owner who is dying and now has to close down because there's no way she can continue. Yet Hollywood is allowed to have their craft services and continue shooting. And they are making money hand over fist. The big money makers, they don't have a problem with that. The Democrats who rail against people that make money, millionaires and billionaires. And they say they're for the little person. They're destroying the little person and keeping, again, it's moron logic. And I cannot say it enough, obviously, because people are morons. Is it liberal Democratic morons? They don't even think before they talk. They think nothing. Again, when we talk about the comment on my Facebook page, I'm not engaging, yet she continues to engage. I am not talking about these things, and yet she talks to me about these things. How many people have you known have an abortion in the 9th month? I know one person that had an abortion, period. But I know, I have the number up here, I've taken it down, 350,000 babies are killed every year. At least, maybe more, maybe less, but right around 300,000. You obviously somehow care about the 200 and something people that died of COVID-19, right? You're wearing a mask while you're driving. You're wearing a mask while you're hiking. You're supporting the closure of restaurants and mom and pop businesses. You're supporting that, right? You're supporting that, but you don't mind that over 300,000 babies are murdered every year. That you don't care about. That's not a big deal. Okay, boomer. That's moron logic, if you ask me. How do I keep my great spirit? I don't know. Happy Coffee. As hell. Go to happycoffee.com. There it is. Go to happycoffee.com. Oops. Oh, hold on. How come it didn't come up? There we go. Today's happycoffee.com. Go to today'shappycoffee.com and CBD. So go to today's CBD oil. Those are probably two of the ways I keep my spirits up. But I love this stuff. I cannot wait to see what happens over the next couple weeks. I got my ammo. I bought 2 new guns to add to my arsenal. I have a number of people. Hedia has got her. We don't need to talk about Hedia, but she's well taken care of. And we've decided that we are going to do the zombie apocalypse together. That is the thing that we first agreed upon out of all the stuff that we talked about, that the zombie apocalypse, we were doing it together, and we were happy and proud. And then I ended up in the hospital. She goes, wait a minute, I thought you were supposed to be my partner and you're in the hospital. Get out of the hospital. Well, I'm fine now. So that's just something we laugh about. All right, my friends. I hope with everything that went on with technologically on this show, that the show still kind of made sense. You wouldn't believe that was happening on my screen. I suddenly had 4 cameras showing up on the base down in the control board, which is called the dashboard, which I had 4 cameras showing up of me, and then they disappeared. And then the delays with all the other stuff was just pretty awesome. Pretty crazy, but yet I was able to still continue talking. You can tell I've been doing this for a while, but I appreciate all of you watching. Make sure and go to uspatriotproject.com, and part of donating, right? Part of helping us fund this project will allow me to pay April if she's going to be my producer, or Hedia might be the producer. Who knows? Or somebody else. Hedia's going to be on the show, so I don't want her producing while she's on the show. But that's where the donations will go to. Better equipment. We can get faster internet, probably a faster motherboard on a newer computer, 2 mics, and a whole bunch of other stuff that will allow us to do the show. And again, this technology, can you imagine? I mean, this is fantastic, right? I'm able to broadcast potentially to billions of people across the world, right? With a computer, a Rode mic, and a ring light, and a Brio Logitech camera. Just think back, especially those of us that are, I'm in my late 30s. Oh, I already said I was 58. Dang it. I mean, just 20 years ago, that it would take a truck with a satellite dish raising up to about 100 feet to be able to get a broadcast out to, 1 million people on ABC, NBC, CBS, or some major network. The amount of money that would take to broadcast out was an incredible feat. And just like, wow, this is incredible. We're able to send a TV signal across the world, right? 20, 30 years ago, it was incredible. But you knew that it took a lot of people, a lot of money, a lot of satellites, and a lot of cable to get that done. Now, I don't have my phone handy, but I could literally just do this very same thing on my phone. And so, considering what we're able to do now is just amazing. So I'm so thankful to be able to have this opportunity to be able to do this thing, and I want to build it. We're on Rumble, as you may have seen on my personal page. You can go to rumble/theandyfalcoshow.com, rumble/theandyfalcoshow.com, and find me on Rumble. I just had a conversation with Vice President of Rumble of some sort. I'm not sure what he is, Vice President of Marketing. He sent me an email and said, hey, can we give you a branded URL? And I said, fantastic. And I was able to do that. That was really cool to get a little message from him. And that was awesome. I'm on Parler, also Parler. Don't do LOR, do LER, Parler. Dan Bonjoni has a hand in both of those companies, Rumble and Parler. So I'm always happy to support him and what he is that he's doing. I know we're getting throttled on these other social platforms. I know that I get the little gray little thing that says fact checks and that kind of stuff on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube. So we're venturing into these other platforms. At some point, they will have live broadcasting. That's what I'm being told. They're going to be having live broadcasting on, I think, both Parler and Rumble in the near future. So I can't wait till that happens. So make sure and follow me on Rumble. And then if you go to the Andy Falco Show, let me just put it up. I'll put this one up here. You go to andyfalcopodcast.com, and then you'll be able to go to, that's on iHeartRadio. I'm also on all the other places you can get podcasts. So it doesn't matter. But if you go to the Andy Falco podcast, andyfalcopodcast.com, you will be able to subscribe. So if something happens where I get completely kicked off of Facebook, completely kicked off of YouTube and Twitter, you'll find the podcast on that particular channel. So those are all the ways to follow me. So make sure and do that. All right, my friends, love you guys so much and appreciate your subscribing and commenting and being here for me when I come on and put up these titles: Moron, Logic, Abortion, and the Election. That surely is going to get me shut down at some point. And it's almost like I'm wondering, you always wonder too, if they have somehow they're messing with my signal and doing a bunch of stuff. There's always that's kind of in the background. Are they able to do that? And they are able to do that. But sometimes I wonder if that's what's happening too. But it was an interesting show. Again, if you would have seen what was happening back here on the dashboard, you would have said, wow, how are you doing all this stuff? I don't know how he kept it together. It actually kicked me off, as you probably know if you were watching earlier. It kicked me off completely. But there you go. All right, my friends. Love you guys. God bless. We'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.